Had a little listen to his podcast, huh?
Dude, it's educational. And besides, I've been wanting to listen to this one.
Welcome to Idling in the Impala, a podcast by and for lovers of supernatural and the fanfiction it inspires. I'm Kasey.
I'm Sandra, and we are so excited to welcome back co-authors of the A Monster by Any Other Name series, Rye and Bailey R. Hansen. Laura and Bailey are longtime friends and fanfic authors who combined friendship and talent to write original fiction. The final book in the series, Fire, released a little over a month ago at time of recording. We're checking in on the writing and publishing journey of Laura and Bailey, as well as their beloved characters, Tobias and Jake. So big thanks for joining us, and welcome back to the podcast, Laura and Bailey.
Welcome!
Thank you so much for having us.
It's still wonderful to be here again. You guys are great.
Yay! It's wonderful to have you back.
It's been about, I think it has been about a year, or a little over a year. I remember when I think Fortress was coming out. I think, Laura, we got you at like in the middle of all of the crazy. So it was like, it was at that point in time. So now you guys have had time to just like reflect. Things are done and you've reached a milestone. I mean, this is big, the final book in a series that I believe initially wasn't supposed to be. Was it supposed to be 5 books initially?
Oh, Bailey, talked about how our initial... What was our initial idea of what the series would be in October 2010?
Oh my gosh. So October 2010, we had just graduated from college and going our separate ways and watching a whole bunch of Supernatural. So we saw seasons 1 through 5.5 in the last semester of college and did not fail. And then we came out of it reading a lot of fan fiction and having a great time. And based on a lot of what we were reading, there's a lot of rescue fics and a lot of trauma love stories that resolve real quickly. And we wanted to write a story that would really deal with the trauma well. So we started that in October 2010, and I thought we would be done by Christmas. And then 9 years later, we did finish what would become the 5 books, which was the beginning, which has the book 1, Freak Camp, is pretty close to what we wrote the first time around, which is it takes place in a world where people find out that the supernatural exists, kind of traumatically, think 9/11 or other kind of huge disaster. And the government reacts kind of predictably and creates basically a concentration camp for monsters. So our one character, Tobias, who started out as Sam, grew up in that camp since he was 5. And then Jake, who was originally Dean, ancient son of a monster hunting family, mom died protecting the president, is, the son of hunters, and they meet in the camp and sparks the love story that eventually gets Toby out of the camp and gives Jake a reason to defy his father and defy the government and try to make everything good. So we definitely did not expect it to be a 9-year journey. And when we started self-publishing and kind of taking the supernatural pieces out to a little bit, we didn't know for sure how many books there were going to be.
Yeah, because I think the Free Camp one, I mean, right now when I wrote the original notes, I'd finished Freedom, I think, at some point beginning of this year, and I've just started like the first few chapters now of Fortress. Is Free Camp the one that really spans the most amount of time with the boys? Like that's the biggest time span.
Yes, it really is.
Okay.
It takes place over 11 years. That's only book 1. Book 5 takes place over several years.
Okay.
But not as many as book 1.
Okay. All right. So yes, because I noticed, Fear was very, very, I think like maybe only a few months, I think.
1 month.
1 month. 1 month. Freedom, when I was going through it, that one, yeah, there's a lot of different layers or like beats I feel that the series in and of itself hits. I mean, Free Camp is like, I remember, Laura, like one of the discussions I think we had too was I loved that in the beginning you really like you brace everyone for this is what you can expect in this book, similar to a piece of fanfic where it's like, here are the tags, here are the warnings, here are the things. And you're like, if you can get through this first one, you're golden. Because there's a lot in free
It
camp.
was a really interesting choice for a series. We made the first book the hardest one to read, which is not advisable for.
Don't do what we did, guys. This was difficult.
We really took the hardest level, the highest level of difficulty. So we tried to make book 2 as well an entry point. So if people have to nope out, most understandably, of the middle of book 1, they can jump to book 2.
Yeah.
And hopefully that'll help.
My question too is like, because you did the self-publishing route, do you feel like if you had tried to get this published, would you have gotten a lot of pushback with the first book?
Yes. I think I could have probably found there are some presses that might have welcomed the subject matter and the level of intensity. We did our research in 2019. We went to a writing conference together. We even pitched the series to an agent.
Okay.
Together here in Portland. But in all my research, and this is still true of the poor publishing industry, they're really suffering. They're contracting. They're desperate they want bestsellers. They really want books that appeal to everyone, like Eat, Pray, Love or Star Wars. So a gay adult only series that has a high level of difficulty on the first book. A book of torture and abuse and sexual abuse, that probably would not have been a good selling, like that would have not sounded appealing to most publishing houses. It would have been difficult.
Yeah, I'm curious about again, I feel like you both are probably very true to like what you'd want to write, and you'd probably be like, no, we're not changing changing this.
There was a lot of reasons why we went with self-publishing, but definitely maintaining creative control was a huge plus.
And it's hard too with the traditional publishing space that the series is not quite any genre. Like it follows romance conventions, but some of the critique that we get in reviews is there's very little romance in this first book. Like they love each other deeply, but there's not like sex and kissing and things like that.
In the first 2 books even.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, I was spoilers, but I was so happy when they finally kissed in freedom. I was like, yes. It was the sweetest thing. It was the sweetest thing.
See, I believe in slow burns. I believe in the payoff they bring.
No, and it was so sweet. And I mean, like, we can get into the characters too, but seeing how vulnerable they are and how they come at it from both ends of, and now I'm getting into like with the freedom part of it, and with Jake's dad, Leon, who is, of course, if we're following Supernatural, is John.
Yes.
The being sort of like, just, no, if you choose this, you're no longer my son. And then coming back and being like, well, not only are you not my son, but you shouldn't be with this person, and I'm going to hunt you both, kind of a situation. It was very, very jarring, and just like, he has nobody. And even like the family that he, I think tried to make some connections with, really there wasn't anything there either. And it's just this struggle that they both of them have to find their place. And I'm sorry, I'm just babbling now. Fortress, though, I love that we get more of Roger Harper, who is Bobby. I love seeing that growth with him and how he's letting down his, barriers with Tobias, and he's really looking at him as more of the person, and that takes time. So it's all these different levels that I think, seeing the characters, and I love Bobby in Supernatural in general. So I love Roger. Roger is just wonderful. I just love him as a character in the story.
Roger's chapters are some of my favorite ones that I've written in the entire series. And I was looking over the books before our conversation, and Fortress book 4 is actually bookended. It begins with the Roger chapter, ends with the Roger chapter.
Okay.
And it really shows the progress of his relationship with the boys throughout that book.
Yeah.
So I love it for that reason. And, it also focuses on how our series is about found family, because Leon is out of the picture quite quite drastically.
Yeah.
And the boys form a really good attachment. They can rely on Roger.
The one thing I was going to ask, because I know that I remember us talking in the first interview, how there was definitely a point where I think the love of your characters in Supernatural was tested. I think especially like Dean and how like he,
oh God, yes,
yeah. So it's interesting to see how you've taken Jake and I think kind of like really done that fix it that I feel like you were hoping. I think you said Dean would be or Dean should be after a certain point in his relationship with Sam. And would you ever, I guess, do you ever consider going back and checking out the show and seeing how the characters might have deviated or like, I don't know, have you gone back to Supernatural since writing this? Or has it kind of like just been that point in time where it was like, I think somebody made like, it's that boyfriend that you had that time with. And then like, yeah, it was good back then, but like, I don't need to go back to it. So has this like journey with this book, I don't know, given you like, do I want to go back and revisit those memories or am I good with what I've created now?
I will always love Supernatural. I have very intense feelings about it. And it is, and I look back on it, yeah, like an ex. I have a mix of love, anger, and betrayal. And I'm familiar with what happens in the later series. I stopped watching early season 8, early season 9, with the Gadriel plot line. That was one betrayal too far for me when Dean lets an angel inside Sam and doesn't tell him what's going on. That was, and I realized at that point, it's like, if I keep watching this, it'll destroy my ability to write Freak Camp. And at that point, I chose Freak Camp because I had more control over it.
That's totally valid, though.
Yeah. But I hold seasons 1 and 2 in particular very dear to my heart, and I always will. I haven't rewatched any episodes in a very long time because I fear I will emotionally implode if I do. I don't think I can handle it. Like, I think about it and I'm like, I think if I try to watch it, I'll pick up a baseball bat or just smash everything around me.
Gotcha.
Like, truly, I have very strong feelings. And I truly love the series. I love what it created. I love Sam and Dean. I love Jared and Jensen. It's a truly remarkable show. And you can tell that by just how much feelings. And like, you guys still have this podcast running. How many years has it been since the end of this series? And you know what? I still get emails from brand new, not just fans of Freak Camp, but fans of Supernatural. Like, I got one this year from a reader saying, "Hi, I just found Supernatural and got into the fandom and saw people talking about Freak Camp. Can you send me the PDF of your story?" And I linked them to the new version. But what I do is, if someone finds us through Supernatural fandom, I offer them the first book for free. Like, I will send you a digital version of book 1 for free. And if you read it before, if you remember reading Freak Camp, then I will send you the PDF because I believe all fanfics should be available. I have experienced this in my own life when a beloved fanfic goes down and you can't find it anymore, and how heart-wrenching that is because it can mean so much to you.
Yeah.
I think if you've read the series before, you should have a PDF of it. And if you haven't read the series before, then it's only, I have to refer to you to the Toby and Jake version because that's what currently exists, and it's more polished. So that's my policy. But yeah, people are still discovering Supernatural in 2025, and they're still having big feelings about it. And I know I certainly do, and probably always will.
Bailey, how about the X for you?
I think about if we're doing the metaphor, like going out for drinks and seeing how he's doing. I don't want to get back together with him because I don't think it'll be good, but I think I stopped somewhere in season 7. I was feeling.
Bailey and I watched the end of season 8 together, but she has no memory of this.
Which means I really didn't
it out.
That is, there's things in the past that Laura will be like, "Bailey, we went to see that together," and I'll be like, "I just know I hate it. I don't remember seeing it at all." To cough into the woods by Sondheim. So okay, apparently I saw season 8, I guess. But I love 1 through 5, actually.
Yes.
And I would like to go back, but I need to be able to like watch an episode, and as soon as I don't like it, just have the guts to skip the entire episode. I don't know if I will end up watching any of the show that way.
Right.
But I, especially toward the end, I felt like I was seeing Sam and Dean's villain arc rather
Yes.
than seeing them as heroes. And I could not do that. Laura's heart and soul is Freak Camp. Mine is less so, but I like them. I like them for the little guy and loving each other. And as soon as it felt like those weren't happening, I was just really checking out too. So
Yeah, I would say as well, by season 9, it was the same reason why we wanted to write Freak Camp. They weren't taking the trauma seriously. They were just breaking the relationship with the boys over and over again. And when I boys, I mean Sam and Dean, because I never cared about Castiel. The show, to me, is about two brothers. It's about two brothers, damn it.
Yep.
And, some of the critique of the later seasons is that Sam becomes a flannel-covered prop in the background. And I can't handle that either. Sam is too important to me.
Did you want to talk about the questions that they've brought?
Well, I was
for us?
just actually an episode that an episode of Idling in the Impala that went out this week was with a different podcaster that we had on, and apparently, I don't remember when the stuff that we talk about when we talk to guests doesn't always stick in my mind because I have ADHD and my brain's like, and we're done with that now, and moves on. So very often we'll be in Discord and somebody will be like quote me or something, and I'm like, I'm gonna need context for that. I don't know what is happening. Another fan messaged me today and they were like, oh, I'm listening to this week's episode and I really wish that when I was on, we'd had chance to talk about Sacrifice, the last episode of season 8, because I have feelings. I messaged back and I was like, I am feral about the end of season 8. You don't even know. I've had a full blown we need to walk away and stop talking about this or someone's feelings are going to get hurt row with my best friend about season 8 and about the scene in the church at the end where we were literally like, you know what, we're just gonna move on, we're just gonna let this go because somebody's gonna cry if we carry on.
Dang.
I'm fully with you on season 8 being the villain arc, and I will die on the fucking hill that Sam Winchester is an angel baby man that has never done a thing wrong in his entire life, because every bad decision that he's made has been manipulated or influenced by somebody else. And the unmitigated gall, Sandra's writing down timestamps.
No, I'm not, because this is related. No, this is related to what we do now. Yes, no, go ahead.
Dean to stand in that church and lie and be like, there is nothing, past or present, I would put in front of you. And I'm like, oh my God, you fucking liar, though. Oh, liar.
Me in the background finding an episode summary now, I think.
The show's certain writers, anyway, of Supernatural really leaned into Dean being the hero and Sam being just a fuck up, and which was so wrong. It was very, very frustrating to me whenever they did that. Yeah, and whenever they blame him, they portrayed every time he's tried to leave hunting as oh, how unexcusable of him. I was like, can you believe he did this? Oh my God.
Yes, easily.
Yes.
Feelings. I have feelings.
We're feral about season 8, guys. But since you guys came on last time, which is what Sandra was nudging me to, and I was like, wait, no,
I'll get there.
Hang on. Is we've actually added in questions that we ask guests now based on what you guys said to us about when you quit the show and being such big Sam fans, and Mystery Spot siding with me on Mystery Spot.
Oh God, yeah, that Mystery Spot. I could never rewatch that. It will kill me. It's amazing though that we inspired you that way.
You did. Let me see. It's in because I don't. It's the secret questions, so they don't go in the documents. I have to hold them somewhere else.
Usually I'm like, Kasey, I think it's time for your questions.
It's time for your questions.
They're like, okay, wait a minute.
There's so little I can spring on guests anymore because we've achieved the tiny amount of fame that means people know my secret questions now.
Yeah.
So
Everyone is prepared with the dinosaur, right?
yeah. But we ask people if they finish the show, especially if they're a Sam fan or a Wincest fan, did they finish the show? Most people have. And then we were like, mystery spot, do you love it? Do you hate it? And then what do you think happened at the end of the episode? Was Sam still in the pocket dimension in the AU? Or did he live those 6 months and was sent back in time? Does he remember those 6 months without Dean? Do you think he tells Dean about those 6 months? Just from the last time we talked to you guys, because you had such strong, fabulous opinions about the show.
I think the thing is too, like, you helped us, because talking to more fans of the show, we really start to build these theories out. And it just, at first I thought Kasey was like, Kasey, why can't you finish? Why do you keep getting stuck on? And of course, me being a Dean fan, I'm like, I don't understand what
the problem is.
So then it was like talking to more people and then hearing that, this is where they just, some people just can't go back to it, or they need to take a long break. And some people haven't finished. Like some people it's around 8 or 9 and that's it for them. They've had it, like they're done, or they really like to focus on certain points. Like the Boy King is a big part for like a lot of like Sam fans that we've talked to, like writing him as like Boy King and all those different things. So I just find it so like fascinating how this one show has so many different reactions and feelings that people can just, I can finish it, I can't finish it, I'm a completist, I gotta go straight through. No, I'll jump around when I'm watching. I've only watched it once. It's like it's all these different ways that they consume this, and then how it affects them. I mean, you guys wrote you guys wrote fan fiction that was people loved, and then you wrote this book, this amazing thing together, and I find that it's a source of high emotion.
It really is. It leaves a mark, on almost everyone who watches it.
We get to talk to creators like you and other people who've experienced it and where it's led them. So I love that part of it. And being a Dean fan and being around a lot of Sam fans has given me more of a well-rounded understanding of, their relationship in general, and whether they're Destiel fans, Wincest fans, pro-ship, multi-ship, all these different things. It really just shows how much one thing affects everyone differently. And I think it's great that you took what really bothered you and it's like, no, we're doing it differently, and I think that shows in the relationship between Jake and Tobias, the care and the time. And I think I just noticed like the 3 steps forward, 1 step back, sometimes 10 steps back, and then having to try again, the resilience and the no, I believe in this, and even if people are telling Jake, no, there's no point, he's just a monster. You can't fix him. He's been through too much. And Jake just keeps going. And I think that's indicative, of the boys, I think too, is just that resilience to keep going that you really, I think, flesh out beautifully.
I still believe that Jake and Tobias are Sam and Dean if they had grown up in those circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
Jake is a better person than Dean Winchester only because of knowing and loving Tobias and learning about the trauma and the sexual abuse that he went through.
Mm-hmm.
I like to think that Jake would the freak camp version of Dean would beat up Show Dean. And he deserves it, man.
Yeah, how dare you?
I think we were talking a little bit too about like the publishing process. And how is that, since we talked to you back in August of 2024, there's been a lot of things I think that have been happening, getting fire ready and all the different things. If you could go back in time, right, to your writer selves, just as you were embarking on getting Freak Camp published, what would be one important piece of wisdom you'd tell yourselves as you were getting ready to start the journey?
Ooh, that's a big question. Let me think about that for a second. I guess I would remind myself in 2020 in particular, when I was really getting serious about rewriting it, you have what it takes. Mm-hmm. You're going to see this through. Because I doubted myself so much at every single book. every single book made it feel impossible. Bailey will tell you I wailed to her quite a bit throughout all the process. So I would tell myself, you have what it takes. You will see this through.
So it's a hard question on my side because I had to step back kind of earlier in the self-publishing process because in my soul, when we got to that first round for the whole story, I was like, oh, it's done. And then Laura said, you should publish it for everyone. And I was like, but I'm really tired, Laura. And so I think in general for publishing, if I could go back a lot farther, I would have asked myself when we were doing the fanfic to think about publishing pieces. I would have wanted my brain to be wired up for this isn't the end, this is a draft. I don't know if that would have interfered with finishing the first version, actually, because my brain gets tired about things sometimes. I have like 5,000 works in progress now, and none of them are done, of course. But I think that would have facilitated that self-publishing piece for
I have no
being
regrets about
aware
how
of the
we
draft.
wrote it because we were so focused. I mean, they were Sam and Dean. We were writing an alternate universe of Sam and Dean Winchester.
Yeah.
And that was really important to me. And I had people talk to me midway through, somewhere like say 2015, 2016. They asked like my family would say, Laura, you should publish this. It looks huge and amazing. And I would say, absolutely not. They are Sam and Dean Winchester. They are not some strange people who I had to rename. And what changed my mind around 2018, 2019, as we got to the end, people telling us what our story meant to them, what Freak Camp meant to them, particularly fellow trauma survivors. They, talking, it was astounding and humbling. And it made me believe that, okay, this should have a wider audience. The story, what we've created, deserves to have a wider audience because of its power for people and how much it's helped people. So that's what made me take the leap of, okay, I want to commit to making this original. And as weird as it feels, I'm going to make them different characters or at least different names. And they have emerged as their own characters in that time period, of course, as I was doing that journey. But they are still, like, at their souls, Sam and Dean.
Do you think either of you, did you need the other to continue on this journey, or could you have done it by yourself in terms of publishing?
Oh my God, Sandra, you cannot just ask people that.
Yes, I can.
Oh, you can. She can. So I am
They don't
very
have to
firm on
answer.
this. Oh yeah, I will answer. I'm very firm on this. Free Camp, at the 5 books that exist would not exist without Bailey and me doing it together. From book 1 to book 5 in particular, those 2 books at the end of the series, those were creations of us together. I did contribute, I think, a little bit more to the arc of the middle books because I'm a very episodic, like, the way it takes. Bailey likes plot. I don't like plot so much. Bailey doesn't
so much.
Yeah, so she was tied to the big action parts and also the director. That was her creation. But I would never have seen it through to the end without her. As it turned out, though, when she said she's creatively finished with it in 2019, it did become my responsibility to see through the revisions and to see through the Tobias and Jake version into the world. And I really appreciate her cheerleading me and helping me out. She came to my rescue for Fire. She helped me write some scenes and give me feedback on scenes. So she was an integral part of the process, even though it was up to me to get it done. So yeah, I appreciate her very much.
And again, Laura's done almost everything, but speaking to kind of the original creation, I mean, I have a lot of unfinished fanfic that I've posted, like the first chapter. And without Laura, that is probably there would probably be 6 chapters of this in the world on Archive of Our Own, and not the beautiful finished work that it is, because I like fight scenes and I like plot, but Laura likes beautiful emotional development and detail and refined, gorgeous structures. And we really brought both of our strengths and wouldn't have. It's kind of sad to write things now that are like romantic, and I'm like, this is a hack job compared to what Laura and I write together. But it's what you're gonna get. There are more fight scenes and action in those, but yeah,
I think that's lovely. And I think it's so true of, I think, people that find each other in creative spaces, especially in, I think, fanfic. I mean, Kasey and I, I'm going to just put it out there, like, we're trying to write something together and we've got our stops and starts and stuff, but I don't think either one of us would be able to write as great a story without each other to balance that out.
Oh my God, you're so nice to me.
So I think that's, but I think it's a part of the journey. Even as friends and friendships and things like that, it's a big project, right? And it's being there for each other in whatever way that works. I think you've been a great, at least like, because I think Kasey and I really were hemming and hawing about the idea, but seeing you two do it and how you've done it and the amount of time, the time span to kind of like put this all together, and like everything's doable, everything's possible. You just have to sometimes be patient, I think, with yourself and the process. And like Bailey, like you said, like, I'm tapped out, but if you need me, I'm here, for this, and this, and let me know, what your ideas are. And then Laura just going like, well, okay, this is like the next, like, I've got the baton now. I've got to like get this over the finish line, but I know somebody's going to be cheering me on. I think is very, very special. It's very heartwarming to hear about how long of a process it was when we talked to you in the beginning in our first interview.
Yeah.
And
We had no idea. We were powered by enthusiasm. Like, you have to, for sure, I think for a co-working project or a co-writing project, it's required for you both to be excited about it. You have to have enthusiasm. And ideally, you have to not know how long it's going to take. You might have been daunted if we knew it'd be 9 years. But we just loaded with writing. We wrote 100,000 words in that first month together. And which was like all of book 1 and parts of book 5.
Some of book 2 in that first month too, I think.
Yes, I think
maybe because it just all came into our brains at the same time.
Yes.
I recently had a writing friend ask me, like, because she's doing her book 2, and she was like, "Oh, is it hard? Was it hard for you to write book 2?" And I was like, "It was a fever. I'm sorry, it was a fever dream. It was not difficult. I don't remember writing book 2. Book 4 was hard."
Literally, Jared and Jensen. Did we film season 2? Is there season 2? We don't know. It's a fucking blur.
Yeah.
Oh goodness. From what I've seen in terms of what's going on now, that you guys, I mean, I'm guessing maybe more Laura, that you've got a narrator that's created an audiobook for Free Camp. Was that both of you guys together? Laura, was that your brainchild? How did that come about? Like, how'd you pick the narrator? All those things. Audiobooks
are very important to me. Since for most of my life after college, I've been listening to more books than I read. That's changed in the last few years, but for a long time, I had more listening time than reading time. And I know how important audiobooks are for accessibility reasons for lots of readers.
Yeah.
If I could make it happen, I was no matter how long it took even, I would make an audiobook happen. It was just a matter of having the resources for it.
Right.
And it was important to me to go to to have a human narrator, because I believe Free Camp deserves a human narrator versus AI.
Yep.
But they are more expensive. It was a matter of having, fortunately, we've had a really good reaction to the Free Camp series. So I was able to afford to book Christian Leatherman to record the first audiobook earlier this year.
Okay.
And I'm hoping to get the second audiobook out next year.
Okay.
I've only been sporadically on TikTok, but when I saw his videos as he was narrating some books. And not only does Christian have an amazing voice, he was also very funny. He did a spoof of some classic dark romance novel cliches.
Okay.
And it made me laugh so hard. He did it in a way that wasn't mean to the authors or to the readers. It was just like, isn't this silly? And like, these things keep coming up. And it was very, very funny. So he immediately, and because he has amazing voice and amazing delivery, he has an incredible range of accents, and he carries such emotion in his reading. He just hits it out of the ballpark every time. So he became my dream pick for a narrator. And it just worked out. earlier this year that I had the resources to hire him, and he had the availability and the excitement for the path. I was really pleased. He wanted to do the project as well. He was excited about Free Camp.
Was it the process that you expected? Did you have the ability to give him some notes or direction or anything like that?
Yeah, he blew me away. He recorded the entire book in 1 week.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, he is a professional.
Wow.
He's done over 100 books now.
Okay.
And so he knew what he was doing. He's a full-time job. He has a recording studio in his home. So I wrote up all these notes about all the characters. I wrote about their voices, both literally what access do they have, and also like what's their character that would drive their voices. So I gave him all these notes about all the main and minor characters, and then we had one production meeting before he began. It was over Zoom, and we talked about some specifics. He asked me about how some character names were pronounced, and what was really fun, because Leon is from West Virginia, and Christian can do Appalachian accents.
Okay.
So we went over a variety of Appalachian accents, like where he tested out lines, reading them to me. Or actually, he had clips too. He had clips, he had audio clips of different types of accents. So he would play them for me, and then I chose the one that I wanted, which was more understandable than some of the other ones. Some of them are very hard, like they're very heavy. So I chose one that was hopefully understandable to most people.
Okay. And I mean, did you ever tell them just listen to Supernatural and you'll get
I didn't. No.
I was just curious if that was like one of your shortcuts. Well, maybe you just want to, but considering how, I mean, they are much younger, right? Like in the books,
Yes.
like they're I think they're just where I'm getting them at. Like they wouldn't have even been on the show yet, so probably wouldn't have helped at all to do that. Yes. So not even Bobby, not even Bobby and his idiots and stuff like that. None of that.
Because I relocated Bobby.
Okay.
I took him out of South Dakota and I put him in New Mexico.
Right.
So I gave him a different accent, a different origin story. So I gave him a West Texan accent,
Nice.
pretty much based on Christian's ability. Like he gave me samples of, this is East Texas, this is West Texas. Like, West Texas, that's the right one.
Oh,
And
nice.
he did such a good job. One of my favorite scenes in the audiobook now, it comes at the end of chapter 1 when Leon and Roger are talking in the kitchen of his house, and it's just. Christian he just nails both voices.
Nice.
Going back between both accents. It's just lovely.
Oh,
and he also
nice.
does a really good job of for kids' voices, because the boys are 6 and 10 when the story begins.
Right.
So he told me, like, quite matter-of-factly in our production meeting that he's gotten really good feedback on his kid voices, lots of good praise. And yeah, he truly does. He is amazing at doing young voices. And he nails particularly Tobias's voice, because it's very quiet and soft. And like, he's been beaten down and he knows not to raise his voice ever.
Yeah.
So he does subtle changes because Tobias is 16 when that book ends. So he captures him growing up, but still retaining that very soft quality to his voice.
Nice. I'm looking forward to listening to this. This sounds
It's
wonderful.
wonderful. It's a wonderful experience. Like it truly, like, it was an adaptation. Like it made Free Camp real to me in a way it hadn't been even after 14 years of writing and creating the series. Like, oh my God, it's real now. Because I hear Christian reading it. He brought it to life.
I mean, what better praise can you have?
Yeah.
For anybody than that, really.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm wondering too, like listening to it, does it, because I do podfics too for some friends, like narrations and stuff. Does it give you the chance to hear or experience something different that maybe you didn't pick up on, even when you've written, like you said, and you've lived with these characters for so long, but are you experiencing something just a little different, getting to step outside of it?
I think one of the things when you guys know when you write something and you read it again, you're not always able to engage with it as a reader, because you're like, oh, that comma. Dang it. That's my experience generally. Or like, oh, that's not the best word. Or I wonder. And listening to his words, like, oh, wait, I wrote that. He just does a fabulous job. And I, for a while, we were thinking that I might do the narration because I have a good voice and I have a lot of opinions about reading, but no time or focus really to do it. And it seemed like too big a project for, my first time doing the microphone.
Yeah.
I still hope Bailey will do a special edition audiobook someday.
Oh,
when she's ready for it.
nice.
A couple more books under, so I have a lot of opinions, and I listened to Christians, and I was like, oh, this is really good.
These are all the things it should be.
It is all the things it should be.
So, Bailey, the director, then, how did you, because I mean, the director was your creation. So how did you feel hearing that? Like him, how did that hit you?
It's just so creepy to hear he lived in my head for the director is probably one of the big reasons that I had to step back, because I was like, I don't want that guy in my head anymore.
Yeah.
But it was really, just powerful overall.
That's awesome though.
That experience.
Yeah, it's like method acting, method writing, and then you've got to kind of nope, I can't do this anymore. I need to extricate myself out of it. Yeah, I was going to ask, just spoilers. Do we see the director again? Like I said, I'm just at the beginning of Fortress.
We do in book 5. We do.
Yeah.
Okay.
The nervousness in your voice is
I'm prepping. I'm prepping for that one then. You had said Free Camp and Fire and a little bit of Fear had been that first go round. So then it was Freedom and Fortress were kind of filled in, I guess, through the second draft or the continuing process of writing. Is that, am I correct on that?
We had parts of them in mind from the start.
Okay.
We knew the arc of the whole series. So parts of Freedom and Fortress were in our heads or partly written down. I had to expand them a bit. Also, I rewrote the whole romance plot line from the fanfic version. In the fanfic, we have their first kiss happen at the end of book 1, when he gets him out of Free Camp. So we changed that for a bunch of reasons, to make it a slower burn, and so everyone's more comfortable with, there are things you can assume when it's Sam and Dean Winchester. Of course, because we wrote it for Sam and Dean fans. Even though it's funny because Bailey's not a Winchester shipper.
I remember this.
I am, yeah. So it was important that they weren't related, of course.
Very important.
Yeah. Everyone reading it knew where it was going to go, and so they were okay with the kiss at the end of book 1.
Right.
Anyway, so I had to redevelop their romance relationship. So that changed how Freedom and then Fortress came about.
I do this to people all the time, and they're like, I can't choose. I can never pick. They're all my babies. But if you've got 5 books in a series, is there one that holds a special place in your heart that you'd let them have an extra treat or whatever because they've been so good and they're your favorite?
For me, it's Fear, book 2, because it has everything I love. The panic attacks and the PTSD, and taking Fortress back one step forward. And it's all my jam.
Bailey?
For me, it's Free Camp.
Okay.
It's a hard book to read again and edit, but it was definitely my baby. Partially because you read a lot of fan fictions where, about chapter 3, there's an info dump about all the trauma someone's experienced. And writing book 1, I was really intentionally doing a lot of exploration of what is evil and what does that mean and what can that look like, and here's all the different variations. And then also writing book 1 means that you never need an info dump because the reader can know what happened, and then you would get to avoid the unrealistic reveal of trauma when folks haven't had therapy and processed before. So really a really strong place in my heart. A big fan of Fire also, but Free Camp I think holds the biggest, it was exactly what I wanted it to be at the time.
I gotta say, as I remember going back and I think for me, freedom when like, and again, I've just started Fortress, so I'm sure I'm going to find more things that I really enjoy about all of the books. But I loved the growth of Sam to the point where you finally got to see him like in that very final, like that fight scene, like with the whatever the monster is, then Jake's contending with. I might be saying Sam, and I mean to say Tobias, so
It's
pardon
okay.
me.
It's all right.
But like seeing him finally like show what he's learned, and there's still so many questions I have about like what is Tobias's deal? Like why was he in free camp and all of these things? And I'm like, I know they're coming. And I'm just like, I mean, I'm hoping, I'm assuming there's going to be answers to some of these questions. Like, why
There
was he
are.
okay? Why was he put in there and all
Fire.
these things?
You gotta
Okay.
wait till fire.
Okay, I
We'll
got it.
get
Okay.
there.
I'll get there. I think like in anticipation of us chatting, I was like, okay, I've got Fortress, I've got Fire. Let me start Fortress. And I think I'm like already like 3 chapters in. So it's like, it's such a good, the pacing is so great.
Oh, thank you.
That I'm really just enjoying them hunting together, them understanding their relationship. You know, all of these, I feel so bad for Tobias. Like, I mean, my gosh, baby, just like let yourself enjoy some things. Like it's okay. It's so hard. There's so much.
It takes them years. It truly takes them years.
It does. And I'm just like,
when Laura
oh.
and Bailey say slow burn, they mean it.
No,
Yes.
but just in general, like, but it's also nice to, like, from Jake's POV, like there's a moment where like they're hunting, they're doing their research separate, and he's realizing, you know, that Tobias is gone out on his own to like get himself something to eat, even though he's at the library.
Yes.
He's not waiting, you know, for Jake to like, you know, he's doing these things. He's finding some agency and willingness to do things just because he wants to. He needs them. It's okay. That I'm like, please, I hope this is positive and he doesn't have any more. I'm sure there's going to be some backsliding at some point, but I'm like, this is good though. You're making progress. This is good. Like progress. And then if you slip up like we all do, that's okay. But progress. But yes. I hate Leon. I don't like him at all. I'm not looking forward to whatever he's going to be doing. Casey's getting all the spoils.
I was hoping that we were going to make it through without me having to fess up, and I kept waiting for Laura or Bailey to be like, Casey, you haven't said anything. Like, did you
No,
finish
it's okay.
them? So here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. We booked this interview in months ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, Sandra, have you finished? And she was like, no, I've read the next 2 books. And I was like, sweet. I will read the next 2 books. I will catch up with you. We'll be absolutely fine. But at the time, I was in the middle of a series of 4 books that I had already restarted once. And I was like, if I stop now, I will have to go back and restart them again. And they're not that good. But I'm committed to getting to the end of it now because it was one of those like dystopian horror, well, not horror, but like dystopian, like there was a mystery and I wanted to know what it was. And honestly, the juice was not worth the squeeze. It fucking wasn't. I have never been more angry at the end of a book series in my entire fucking life. I refuse on principle to read the prequel series to these books because I should not have to read an additional 4 books to explain your fucking ending. It's shit. And you should feel
very
bad.
bad.
It's terrible. So I was like, Sandra kept going, have you started them yet? And I'm like, no, I'm finishing my book series. Have you started them yet? No, I'm finishing my book series. Have you started? No, I'm finishing my book series. And then I finished my book series and then I freaked myself out. Because then I was like, oh no, I remember the end of Freak Camp. And there's going to be so much trauma. And I'm like, I'm autistic as fuck. So it's quite difficult for me to start new things anyway, because I'm like, oh no, it's scary and it's unknown. And oh no, I'm going to go reread the same book I've read 18 times because you know what happens.
I relate to you so much. I'm also a very emotional reader, and I go very slowly for that reason. And there are books that have, in fact, the one that inspired me the most for the first non-Freak Camp project I've written in 15 fucking years, which I'm going to work on next year. The book that inspired me that I fucking love, and I've reread the first 4/5 of it so many times, but I haven't read past the 88% mark. I won't finish it because because I have emotions and I have feelings. And anyway, we're really weird as people and as readers. So it doesn't bother me at all. You will get to the Freak Camp series when it's right for you, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I will. Yeah. And like, honestly, I knew I was like, I can totally bomb out 2 books in like 2 weeks. This is fine. Like, I can.
Casey's
I'm a fast reader.
Is such a fast reader.
I'm a fast,
and I'm so slow. I was like, well, I need to start now because I'll catch up to you by the time you'll catch up to me, or like, no problem. Yes.
I knew, like, last week I'd given up on the idea. I was like, this is not, because like I started a new job and I was doing other things, and I was just like, I just don't have the brain space.
It's understandable. I was like, you don't even have to apologize. They're not going to.
No, you don't have to.
I knew you guys wouldn't be mad, but I was like, can I get through this whole interview without fussing up that I haven't read any more books? But I knew I would walk away from this interview like invigorated and wanting to jump back into the world. So I was like, I've settled over the course of the last sort of hour going, I'm gonna have to reread Freak Camp to kind of catch myself up to where I was. But I know that that's what I'm going to be doing in my free time now is reading through those.
You mentioned something about like the ending of something. How confident were the both of you when you ended it? Like, did it feel like you'd hit your mark ending this series? Like, were you good with it? Did you have any like wrestling back and forth with how it should end, or did you guys both?
If I get to the end of Fire and it's Silent Green people, I'm going to send a strong word email. All right.
There's one thing I can assure you, and it's not Silent Green is not people for Fire.
Good. Okay.
100%.
It took us 9 years, right, to reach the end of the first iteration of the 5 books, and we were at that point ready to finish. And because this is not a spoiler. I'll just say it's cathartic. Like it's the opposite of disappointing. We made it. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. So we wanted the catharsis, and it was for ourselves as well as for the readers. And I have this great memory of my 30th birthday. We were in Vancouver, British Columbia, and we had high tea in Vancouver Island. This lovely fancy tea, because I am a dirtbag Anglophile who likes British things. So we had a great pot of tea and little sandwiches and macarons and cakes, and we had a quiet discussion over our high tea of who would live, who would die, who would tell the story, just to quote Hamilton. And it was very specific. We talked a lot of, it was very fun. So we created that together.
Oh, nice.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's such a nice story, though.
And I'm deeply satisfied by the ending. And yes, I'm personally delighted by the ending.
Good.
And it was, we wrote kind of like the super rough draft in probably October 2010, when I had very little to do in a foreign country. We definitely had a chunk of rewrites to do by the time we got in there, because the boys had become better people than we could write 9 years previous. Like, we were much better writers at the end of the 600,000 words, Laura?
500.
Wow. 500,000 words. But it really still hit the emotional points that we wanted from the beginning, and on a couple of levels. Like, we wanted to still be really honest about reality while also having that catharsis. And I think we managed both. So I love it.
I have complete faith in you guys.
Good. Yeah, we've talked about like the magical healing cock. I think we're going to do an episode on that. So just because it's none of that. So that'll be I'm like I said, I'm more than halfway through the journey so far, and I love dipping back into them, after having had a little bit of break, and then like, okay, let's get the show on the road once Fire was out. And I was like, Casey. They're like, no. All right. I'm like, okay, well, I'll hold on. But yeah, so I'm sure you're going to get, you might get a lot of notes from Casey once they're finally done. So just be prepared.
You might do, yeah.
Yeah.
You'll get emails absolutely after each book.
Might even get a voicemail. They might even just record it, and you just might hear it.
I would love all those things. I'm also open to a third interview if you want to get your feelings out directly.
You know what though? I'm not opposed to that idea. When me and Sandra are done, and we can come back and we can be like, okay, we finished now.
I would love that.
Good.
I would love that. Write that down, Sandra.
I'm writing it down. You've hit on this a little bit here and there, but what have you learned like throughout this journey of working together? Like, what are your feelings overall? I mean, it's been 15 years. Like, what are your feelings at the conclusion of this great thing that you guys have done.
Do you mean about the story or about
Just the journey
the
of like
writing?
you guys working together and just like how it's affected you guys too, just like personally and stuff.
It was funny because we graduated college in May 2010, and we lived together for 3.5 years, and we were doing all the same classes, same work.
Yeah.
We were always together, and then we were gonna leave Indiana and be thousands of miles away in Texas and Wisconsin. And I was worried about our friendship. I was worried like maybe we're not gonna stay close. Maybe we're gonna drift apart.
Mhm.
And that is the funniest thing in retrospect because Free Camp definitely kick-drived our friendship to another level. So we were just obsessed with creating this world together and this story together. And I mean, I'm pretty sure we wouldn't have drifted apart regardless. But
We
it
may
definitely
not have
maintained-
texted every day for the next
Yes.
like decade.
Yes, exactly. We text pretty much every single day for
Mhm.
15
Yeah.
years. So
Mhm.
about life things, not about free camp things.
Right,
But
yeah.
it's
A lot of
definitely
free camp, too, honestly.
it
at the beginning.
maintained and it grew our friendship.
Yes. 100%. Like, yeah, I don't think we would have fully drifted away, but I was looking back recently and we had like 26 email threads in Google.
With
Wow.
100 with 100 emails per thread.
Oh wow.
100 because like we just kept adding them and they had like Roman numerals on them and like we
Yes.
broke Google Docs. Like we
Yes.
tried all of book one is in a Google Doc, and I think it stopped working after a while.
Mhm.
And this is the book that really like cemented Laura. I mean, our relationship was excellent before, but like now it's rock solid. We can't get away from each other, which is great. And also I call this the series that made me the writer I am today, because we were creative writing majors and you're in classes or you're trying to write classy literary fiction and which nothing terrible about that unless
Right.
I'm feeling snarky, but you get into fandom and like you're writing for stuff that people like to read, and then you're writing like 500,000 words of 2 characters and trying to keep it engaging and well written and edited, and just learning so much. Like you write enough, you get good at it, and then learning things like, there are times where Laura and I would go back and forth over a scene that wasn't working, and like there's a certain point in a scene where you ask the question, do we even need this? I hate it so much. Do we actually? And if the answer is no, you just delete it. And you don't learn that in like short form stuff quite the same. Like it just forces you to stretch those it forced me to stretch those muscles, Laura, too, of like, this is a long story and we're going to get it out there and we're going to make it happen.
And I, for one, am so glad that we wrote the entire thing without thinking about publishing it. We weren't trying to think about, will an agent want this? Will an editor or publishing house? We wrote it for the joy of telling a story that we believed in, and we did it for supernatural fandom. Like that was our audience, and who we wanted to share the story with. So I think that maintained the integrity of it.
Yeah. Y'all were the original Fix It girls. Before the series even ended, you were like, this has gone too far off the rails. We're going to fix it, lads.
Absolutely.
Nope.
Absolutely.
So you teased that even though Fire is the final book of the series, it's not the last Toby and Jake story?
Correct.
What does that mean?
It means that, so in the 15 years we've been writing Free Camp, we also have written a lot of short stories and spin-offs of the first 5 books, which are now published. And so I've been, I'm going to keep sharing a lot of those stories on our Patreon. It's called a Free Camp Survivor Club.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and it's you can join for $5 a month, and you get all the bonus stories. I don't make the bonus stories tier dependent.
Okay,
the only thing, if you join at a higher level, you get them faster. But I didn't want to make the access to the stories financially, restrictive.
Oh, nice.
So you can get short stories. I have alternate points of view of, like, for instance, the end of Freedom. that scene on the beach that Sandra knows about, their first kiss. I have Jake's point of view written on the Patreon. So if you want to see that kind of thing. I also have deleted scenes that we took out of the books.
Oh, like what Bailey was talking about. Like, do we need this? No.
Well, usually
good
those
ones.
weren't good enough to keep. There's other stuff that got trimmed for
the good
better
ones
reasons.
that didn't fit into the actual the final books.
Gotcha.
Not the stuff that we hated so much. We were like, just take it to the curb. I don't want to see it again.
I don't publish or I don't share on Patreon anything that I hate.
Gotcha.
I promise you that.
Gotcha.
There is I for instance, I have one of the it's an alternate version of the first time Toby says "I love you" to Jake.
Aww.
So and then I have one I just shared about Jake giving Toby swimming lessons. And how that kind of triggers his trauma with being submerged underwater.
Okay.
And I have for this month a brand new one that's going to be a heartwarming holiday story.
Nice.
Yeah. And in addition to short stories, I have one spinoff I'm really excited about. I call it the College AU. It diverges at a midpoint in Fire when Toby's 18 or 19, and it will explore them quitting hunting because they almost die and they realize, you know what, we love each other too much to die this way. We want to try to find a life. So they try to settle down as civilians in Boulder, Colorado, and Toby enrolls in local college and Jake tries to find a job, and it's super hard for them, but they slowly figure out a life for themselves. So these are my strengths. This is what I care about. I like the nitty-gritty emotional development and like the search for figuring, away from the hunt and the plots. So I'll be writing that in 2027.
Okay.
I say that because next year in 2026, I'm going to take a creative break from Freak Camp.
Okay.
And I'm going to write totally different world, totally different characters for another gay fantasy romance.
Nice.
I think you've both definitely earned your break from Freak Camp.
Yeah, it's been crazy. I don't know what it would be like to write another world, another character, other characters. I mean, I do know it's not going to be as heavy as Freak Camp. I do feel like I also got all of that out of my system. I will never write. I will never write a book like Freak Camp again. Book one of the series. I mean, it was so intense, and I'm glad it exists, but I can't retread that level of darkness either. Yeah. I wanted to say that the best way to keep up with all of my writing, the news stories and the Freak Camp stories, is to sign up for our free newsletter. It's on the homepage of freakcamp.com. So you'll get a few of the bonus stories via the newsletter. Or if you want all the bonus stories and my future projects, the best way to do that is join the Patreon, which is patreon.com/freakcamp.
Look at that. Plug in like a pro.
Bailey, I know you said you got a ton of whips and everything, but is there something in particular you're working on?
Yes, I have 3 things, but there's one is a very silly, non-supernatural related Dark Christmas story that I've been pretending I will finish for a couple years. But another one is a sci-fi romance, which was inspired by The Boys. Though I had, I needed someone to be short, and neither of them were short. So it diverged real early in the creation.
I have read this. Sorry, I should interrupt. This is a really good story. I've read the draft of this. It's very awesome.
And it was on Kindle Vella while that still existed, and then it's dead. So I need to finish it though. Though that one is talk about finding a good ending. I think it's a multi-book series, but I don't know where to stop book 1.
Okay, gotcha.
There's plot, and there's also emotion. Like probably I just should stop it at the emotional development, but then you won't know the resolution of the villain. So these are plot problems. But I hope by the next time we talk, I'd like to have that baby out in the world.
Oh, yes.
Amazing.
Well, trust me, we know what it's like trying to figure things out and write and do things and do other things and live and
do real life stuff, which is gross and just gets in the fucking way. And as Sandra so helpfully reminded me, I have a fanfic deadline next Saturday.
Oh no!
Ooh, good luck.
And December's a terrible time of year to do when we're recording. Terrible time of year to do anything, I think.
Yeah, well, you would think that, but then we decide to sign up for things anyway.
It was a secret Santa, and I was like, I've got loads of time. I've got loads of time. I've got loads of time. And Sandra was like, are you done with that yet? And I was like, no, I've got loads of time. And she's like, isn't it due next Saturday? And I was like, shit. I do not, in fact, have loads of time. Bugger.
That's exactly what I'm dealing with my bonus story for Free Camp for the holiday story.
Yeah.
Haven't started it yet. It's going to be done though. Ideally on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
I believe in you. We can do this.
Thank you.
We definitely want to have you guys back after Kasey and I are both done, and we'll have notes to share.
We would love that.
That would be amazing.
About the journey that you've taken us on, and that you've taken so many people. Just like wrapping up, I'm like, we just met you last year, but we're so proud of like your journey and what you've done for the fandom.
God, yes.
And everything. So really just like have high tea again. Like whenever you guys can get together, you know, do the thing and talk about the things and just like enjoy that you've accomplished something that very few people can say they've done. Do you know what I mean? Like, I mean, you've written a freaking series has so many, I think, amazing points and moments, and two really just characters that you root for and that you want to see succeed and just be together and be happy and do all the things. And I think that's lovely. I think you are the epitome of what fanfic writers are and what they can be. So, I mean, I think you're kind of like a model for me in my writing journey as well. So
that's incredible to hear. Thank you so much. That's
got to like hit the hearts, like heart emojis, like 1,000 times.
Yes.
Well, because you guys deserve it. So we really do appreciate it. And yeah, I mean, I know, I guess what's been some of the reactions from people that have finally finished, like that you've like, you know, have you gotten the chance to talk to anybody who's done the whole thing, and what's been the reaction that you've gotten?
Oh, I haven't had a conversation with any readers yet. I've been like in the kind of reeling headspace of just like, oh my God, it's done. And also as authors, you know, you have a complicated relationship with reviews, and like I totally respect everyone. Like everyone's opinion is valid, and but I'm also the kind of anxious writer who, like, as I finish each book, I imagine the 1-star reviews that can be written about them. And anyway, so like I've peeked at a few reviews, and I've been very happy with some of the reception. But yeah, this is I haven't talked about it at length to anyone yet.
Well, I'm glad you kind of took the time.
Me too.
And because I am I'm invested, but like I'm not as invested. So, and I don't know if I'm as anxious a writer. We'll see, Laura, when I start self-publishing, how I do on the anxiety levels, because it's not going to be zero, that's for sure. But I have enjoyed the responses. There are several reviewers who are like, I freaking love this ending, and even the folks who had criticisms of the ending were valid but wrong. No, that's not the right. That's not the right.
I love one of the critiques of it, who gave it, didn't like the ending, but she admitted it was very cool.
Yeah. And it's one of those things, like very valid criticisms of the ending, but not the story that we wanted to tell, right? So it's like, you are correct, but I'm not feeling bad about that. So very, very exciting to get those reactions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
I feel like I feel like the thing I want to say would be a spoiler, so that I don't want to say.
Okay. Yeah, but don't. Yeah. So we'll hold
we
off on
appreciate
that.
Thank you.
Yeah. And like vague, but it's like, yeah, we
We stand by we stand by what we wrote, our ending.
Yeah,
and our
stand by
choices.
the ending. Yeah,
And I think that's okay as well. Not every reader is going to come away. Like,
No.
as long as you don't come away going, where the fuck's the rest of it? You know,
No one
I swear I'm going to die mad about this. Like, I might email the author and be like, excuse me, do you happen to have the rest of your book? Because I think you missed a bit. But like, you can't, me and Sandra were just talking about this. You can't please all of the people all of the time.
No,
If you're happy with your ending, then that's the ending. And that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it is an ending. It's definitely not a vague soprano-like ending or anything else.
Good. Because there'll be strongly worded emails if it is.
Yeah.
We understand.
One of the things that I think, kind of thinking about high tea, is I am not an Anglophile. I'm very neutral in that space. But one of the delightful things was when you are having a high tea, the purpose of your life is to sit for 2 hours and talk while you drink a giant pot of tea.
Hell yeah.
And that was wonderful because, like, how many times do you have, like, the purpose of my life right now is to sit and chat and, like, no rush because, gosh, I've got to drink that whole pot of tea first. And that was amazing to do with Laura, and I do hope we get to do it again. I guess thinking now I have an answer to my recommendation related to self-publishing, which is doing the thing, even if it's not perfect, is really hard.
Yes.
And just sitting with that and being like, if you're waiting, and I mean, I have been doing this, so I mean, don't do it, man. If you're waiting for the perfect time to get that next scene done, or to figure out how to log into KDP, or something like the perfect time pretty rarely will show up. So just doing it, even when it's, I mean, if it's bad, maybe wait a little while, but like good enough sometimes has to be what you have. Can't be perfect.
Yeah, I mean, Kasey, you've been talking about life and stuff in general too. And one of the things is like your best moment is right now. Like it's probably not going to get any better. And if you keep waiting for that, no, I'll wait until I'm better or I feel better or this is a thing.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. You're just going to keep putting it off.
Exactly. Stories have moments that can seize your brain and you are excited about them and you have the energy for them. That won't happen again. It won't happen, or at least like, and you as a person are going to change in the next year and you won't write the same story. So yeah, definitely seize the moment. And as one of my favorite therapists once told me, she says she has a lot of author clients, so she knows our deal and how strange we are. But she has this great Hungarian accent, and I'm not going to try to imitate it, but what she says is, you cannot wait for the muse to kiss you on the forehead.
I love that.
Yeah.
Which is just really true. Like, because you can grow up with conceptions that like, oh yes, I will sit at this desk facing the eastern window and wait for the right clouds to inspire me. And,
Yes. As the beautiful dawn raises, even though you'd never actually get up to see dawn.
yes.
Yeah. We know who we are. We know who we are.
Right. Yeah.
I'm a really big fan of the phrase perfection is the enemy of good, or
Correct.
perfection is the enemy of success or creativity or whatever.
Perfection's the enemy of oil. There's two versions. My favorite is done is better than perfect.
Yep.
I live by that. I really do live by that. Like done is better than perfect because I'm like, you got to get it done. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Just get it done.
That is how Free Camp got done because it isn't perfect in my eyes. Like, I mean, I feel, it isn't perfect in my eyes. There's stuff like, but I have to accept this is the best version of the story I can write in my current capacity.
I forget who said it. I believe it's like an artist that art is never finished, merely abandoned. And I always really like that because you could always go back and change something, but you're done with it for now, and that's okay.
Or Kasey, Kasey's like, what's your?
I think mine is a little bit more depressing.
What is it?
Mine is just finished when I hate it. When I can't stand to look at it anymore, it's finished. Like there's nothing. I have nothing to add to this because it's finished. I hate it.
That's valid.
I do like at starting when you have the passion and the energy, but you also have to keep going when it sucks.
Yeah.
Like every once in a while, like in every long project, there's a point where my mantra is it doesn't have to be good, it has to be done.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's a hard place to be. Like if you really want it to be really good, it can be hard to say it doesn't have to be good right now. It has to be finished. Yeah. I mean, also that's what a second draft is for. To make it good sometimes. But
absolutely. Just like getting to that point where you feel like, okay, I can move on to this next part of my journey. Like, just get to this one part so I can get to the next bit. Like, it's breaking it up rather than looking at it as this huge, daunting thing. You know, like, let me just try to get to this next bit, this next bit, this next bit. So, yeah.
One of my favorite quotes from I don't know this person, but I have her name written down. Shannon Hale. She said, "I'm writing a first draft and reminding myself that I'm simply shoveling sand into a box so that later I can build castles."
Oh, I love that.
That's really nice.
And I had to embrace that really hard to get through some of the writing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just shoveling sand. That's all I'm doing. Shoveling sand. You'll be pretty later.
I love that. That's great.
Yeah.
Much
Look at us
well
just
versed in-
exchanging creativity.
Exactly.
This is the stuff that we live by.
Here's my other favorite that I believe. I won't say the author because I'm really changing it, and I couldn't find proof that it's them. But the person said, "I don't write to make the muse show up. I write so that when the muse shows up, I can tie her to a chair and get everything I need out of her." I was like, "Oh crap, that's terrifying." There's stronger language involved, but again, I can't find the quote anymore. But I liked that. I was like, "That's terrible," but that is a good reason to write every day.
That's
so that
great.
when the muse shows up, I've got her.
That's similar to the like everybody thinks that like it's more to do with exercise, but I do think it applies here as well. Everybody thinks that you need to be motivated and that's how you get going. No, you need to be disciplined. The motivation comes afterwards.
Yeah,
it's the discipline you need first, which is that's the bit I struggle with.
That's a hard truth.
hard.
Yeah.
You gotta.
It's not easy, but it is. Unfortunately, it is right. You have to put the work in, and then the motivation comes along and goes, "Oh, are we doing a thing now? Cool! I just got here, great!" And you're like,
I wonder what the writing-based equivalent is to when I go to the gym, mostly to get in the hot tub, and then I also go swimming. I don't know. I have to think about that.
Man,
we'll have to ponder this.
If my gym had a hot tub, I would go more often.
Well, this is why I've had to bribe myself with shiny medals to make myself move.
Well, you got to do what you got to
idea.
do. You got to do what you got to do to get yourself to the next point. That's perfectly fine. Perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Well, ladies, this has been lovely. We're going to let you guys go. We're going to do our little outro at the end of it, but we'd love to touch base and have you guys back when we're both done and just to chat about it one more time and then get some more details maybe about where you guys are and what you're doing. We'd love to do that and check in again. So
that sounds phenomenal.
We appreciate you so much and appreciate the time. So thanks for taking a couple hours out of your Saturday to chat with us.
Thank you, Sandra and Kasey.
Yeah,
you were amazing interviewers. I was so nervous about talking, and you made me so comfortable. So I
love talking to both of you and hearing your stories. I love this. This is what we live for. This is why we do the thing that we do. So
we do this.
Yes,
this is our motivation. We've done the discipline bit. This is what we're here for now.
So much fun. And if Laura and I have anything super impressive that happens within the next year and we don't hear from you, we might let you reach out.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
we're expecting to hear from you, to hear all the great things that are going on.
Absolutely.
Yes. All right. Good luck. Enjoy the hot tub. Enjoy the Wisconsin's mountain. Enjoy all the things.
Have a lovely Christmas if you celebrate. Happy holidays.
Yes.
All that good
don't
things
climb
as well.
Everest.
No one should go up Mount Everest.
No one here is doing
no,
that.
I'm gonna do Everest on the flat. It's gonna be great. We're not going vertical. It's cold enough. But enjoy the rest of your Saturdays. Have a lovely rest of your day, weekends, holiday time, and Happy New Year. All that good stuff.
Thank you, Kasey. Thank you, Sandra.
Oh, you're welcome. Have a good one.
Thank you. Bye bye. Always a delight to have Laura and Bailey.
Lovely.
I love talking to them. I love hearing the process, and every time we talk to them, I'm like, we should get back to that thing that we're writing, Sandra.
I know. Well, you know what I was thinking too, and it was listening to their friendship, I think really kind of resonated with me too, that the one thing that they've done that's really kind of was the foundation of their friendship. I feel like that's what this is for us. There's not going to be, Idling in the Impala is not going to happen forever. There's just no way. But to know that there's, but you heard them, they weren't writing Freak Camp all the time together, but they still talk daily, So it's there's that important part that I think grounds you to another person. And I think that's what they
Yeah.
have, you know, and I think it's just to know it's like been a more than 15-year process, really, you know, how long they've known each other as friends. And yeah, I think when you get back into it, I think you're really going to love it. Like I said, we all know fear is the tough one too. Like Free Camp was let's put all of the traumatic stuff. Yeah. And now this is like,
fear is going to be like the setting the broken bones.
Yeah, but like for me, like Freedom's really like the third book really was like that. Like, okay, this is where they really start to like spread their wings, you know, and you could start to see it happening. And that's why, like, as I started to read Fortress, I was like, oh, okay, you know, I was back into it again. And like I said, I have so many questions about certain things, and it's like I'm probably going to like during the holiday break, I could see myself probably, you know, definitely getting through Fortress and maybe starting Fire and stuff. But I'm looking forward to having them back and hearing about their journey outside of Free Camp and, you know, what they're up to. And yeah, I mean, you've always got the best comments. So, I mean, you've got to start to make your notes as you're reading and stuff. And just throw it out there. For them to listen.
To have a notepad next to me.
Mm-hmm. You did that last time.
Yeah, I think I did.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, no, I have questions. Come back here.
I think that's one of the things too. Like we beat ourselves up about like time frames, and you know, like ideally, sure, would we want to be done writing our book? Sure, but we know it's there, right? And we know that life happens, and you know, we can get the thing done when it's the right point. But I think it's also true, like Laura said, like, you know, the more time you spend on things, the more you change and the more your outlook changes. And so it's like a decade-long book, or, you know, the series that they worked on. I mean, there's a lot of growth in that. You know, I don't think our books is necessarily a growth book, but you know, we've got
I don't think we're tackling the same hard-hitting.
Yeah, we've got other like fun stories, like, you know, in mind, like, you know, in tangent, say like with this book, when this book sees the light of day. So I think I enjoy talking to them. I love talking to them. They're so sweet and great, and they're so witty,
and gracious, and funny, and just truly a delight to talk to.
Yeah.
And give me anybody that will exchange quotes about being creative with me. I'm here for that. I am here for that. And just think, every break that we take from our project, we're coming back better.
Yeah. No, I believe that.
We're learning on the way.
I mean, what we've been writing now, like off and on. You know, we've had
years now,
yeah. But I'm saying just in general, like getting back to fan fiction. I mean, we've been doing that for 5 years, more than 5 years.
Yeah.
So I think there's growth there, and yeah, it's just hearing Laura like just be like, I'm done, you know, and then Bailey's like, you know, I'm excited for, you know, hearing people's reactions, but knowing that they were there for each other on that journey, you know, like, again, I feel like you really need a good partner to get shit done. Sometimes you just can't do it on your own. I mean, that's why we do what we do here. Like, if it was one or both of us, neither one of us would still be doing this thing. We just wouldn't, you know, like I say that again and again, we would not be doing this thing if it wasn't for each other. So I think that says a lot about their friendship and their creativity and what they've been able to put together. So big congrats to Laura and Bailey on getting the series done.
Humongous congratulations.
All of the things. But we're going to wrap up this episode because it's late where Kasey's at. So they've had a busy day. We've had a busy day. We're going to wrap up. But we want to thank you for listening. And we want to know what you thought of the episode, and Laura and Bailey. And have you read Free Camp? Are you interested in reading Free Camp? Get on the ball, people. Read Free Camp. Email us at idlinginttheimpala@gmail.com. Comment on Spotify. Leave a YouTube comment. Join our Discord and chat with fellow idlers and us in real time. Check out our merch store, which is another fun way to show your support. You can find details for everything on our website. That's idlinginttheimpala.com. I see Kasey just dropped into the document. Want to fuel our supernatural road trip? Consider joining us on Ko-fi. We have perks to go along with different membership tiers, and we'd love to have you along for the ride.
Speaking of perks, we've got special shout outs for some of our Ko-fi members. From our Shotgun Picks the Music tier, we've got Runaway Dreamer, Crowley's Mistress, Sam and Dean 76, Elia, Charlie, and Just Whispering Fantasies. Thank you for picking the tunes in the car. Support like yours keeps our podcast going. Thank you. Don't forget, you can always support us for free by liking, commenting, subscribing on YouTube, and following, rating, sharing on audio platforms. Engagement like that really helps us with the algorithms. All hail their benevolence. As always, we have the causes we support in the description. So from me, you have LGBTQ plus talking charities. From Sandra, you have mental health charities. And the main causes that we are highlighting, championing, spotlighting are World Central Kitchen and Doctors Without Borders. If you want to know more about these causes, why we're supporting them, what they mean to us, check out idlingintheimpala.com. There's a page there called Causes Cause with all the details. So with that, we will say a huge thank you to Laura and Bailey for joining us. Thank you for joining us in the back seat, and we'll see you next time, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.